Monday evening edition. I am Pip, which y'all already knew if you're watching this. I assume it's a beautiful day here in, I hate to have to say it, in Boulder, Colorado. It was snowing a little bit earlier, and now it is sunny, and the air smells like there's been another mass shooting. Um, that's how the air smells, and this one is tough. Because it did happen right pretty much around the corner from me at a supermarket called King Supers, which is, I mean, I want to say it's like the Boulder, Colorado version of Trader Joe's. A little bit, got a Trader Joe's vibe, maybe with like a touch of ShopRite somewhere in the mix. But all in all, it's a very wholesome place, and it's certainly not the kind of place that anybody should expect to get shot. And I don't want to sound like I'm making light of this, but honestly, it's hard to really say anything when something like this happens. It's not the first time, and the way things are trending, it's getting hard to believe that it's going to be the last time. Now, I don't want to say anything like I know what I'm talking about, because as I constantly remind our viewers, I do not know what I'm talking about. I never have known what I'm talking about. I take great pride in not knowing what I'm talking about because it helps me say things that lack substance comfortably. Because I truly don't know any better. So I don't want to mislead you, but the rumors that I'm willing to repeat somewhat irresponsibly are that the motive of today's assailant was the vaccines. Because in our supermarket, they do vaccinate people. It also doubles as a pharmacy. And from what I've been told, the first person to go down was unfortunately somebody who was just waiting online to get their vaccination. And it's hard to not want to attribute this sort of thing into, the people who have been saying things like the vaccine is actually a brain implant from Bill Gates that's going to toxify your brain or whatever the fuck they're saying. That's just literally made up shit that makes them feel smart. And it makes them feel so smart they keep sharing this information with the world as if it's true. And they've created a whole movement that just celebrates its own ignorance. So when you tell people that, big pharma or the government is waging a war on you with these vaccines, you got to defend yourself by any means necessary. You can't be surprised when something like this happens. Although I wouldn't personally say that that you could attribute this sort of thing to any one event. I feel like I've been talking for about 4 minutes uninterrupted, which is also very dangerous. So let me take a look at some of these comments, see if we have any. Tell me how you guys are doing today, because you guys are our viewers, and you're why we do what we do. We got Jason watching. Hey, Jason. Jason just said Pip, which is my name. So thank you for watching, Jason. I do appreciate it. We're just waiting on Sean here. Sean's in another meeting, one that is evidently more important than this one, which is hard to believe if you ask me. I mean, personally, I don't think anything's more important than the Stoner Morning Show. I mean, we've got a message, you know? I don't like to think of us as a show so much as a movement. And that movement is, well, it's positive and 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 it's a movement of peace and love and joy, and all we're trying to do is spread good vibes. And to think that there could be something else that you'd be doing with your Monday evening, Sean, anybody else, it doesn't make me angry, but it does make me sad. I wish I could understand it. Well, anyway, if anything else is going on in your life, feel free to share. In the meantime, I can talk about what I found in my attic the other day. It is this Game Boy Advance circa 2000. I won this Game Boy in the year 2002 in a raffle. In a Chinese auction is what they called it back then, but that is probably not the preferred nomenclature. But it was a raffle at my temple, and I put all my tickets in the Game Boy box because I really wanted that Game Boy. And it was the first and only time I ever won anything. And I think it's because I stacked the deck in my own favor by buying way too many tickets. But you know what? I did win a Game Boy, and I probably didn't spend more than $10, $15 on those tickets. So all in all, I did come out ahead. I've been playing a lot of Pokemon, Leaf Green. Can y'all see this? You should be able to see this. Now, I don't know why I decided to get Leaf Green and not Fire Red. There are some differences, like in the correct Pokemon that you can get. They don't all have all of them. So I think my game is missing Electabuzz, which makes me sad. Electabuzz is one of the coolest Pokemon. Just that little yellow fox man. Kind of looks like a Dr. Seuss character. One of my personal favorites. But yeah, if you've been playing any games during your quarantine, feel free to share. Give me something to riff about. I can keep talking about Pokemon because the whole thing is really fucked up if you really think about it. I mean, first of all, I'm surprised that PETA, the organization, the People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, I'm surprised they haven't been more vocal in their distaste with Pokemon because they're not just cruel to those animals. They kidnap them in little balls and carry them around and then force them to fight each other until they pass out. And the characters that don't want to do this are always depicted as either being really lame or the villain, which is honestly quite shocking. But it's done in such a way, it's depicted in such a way that it feels like innocent. Like, oh, they're just cute little fluffy teddy bear monsters that, that all have special powers. And it's a kid's show about friendship and the importance of loving your animal friends in the form of forcing them to fight to the almost death. I don't know how they got away with that. But I think what they did is they made a show that was so annoying, that was just so unwatchable to parents, that they literally didn't notice that the ethics of it were highly questionable, right? And I think that's really been the strategy for a while when it comes to marketing children's entertainment. Just like, even as far back as, Scooby-Doo, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, these are the sorts of things that a grown-up at the time sees it, has never seen anything quite so insipid and dumb that they just can't help but tune it out. And then they say things to each other, like pretty much like this rant right now, which is like, wow, that cartoon is really dumb and it's frying my kid's brain and it's making them want to buy it's making them beg me for all these stupid toys. But they never took any care to check on what the actual content of the show was, because from the parents' perspective, it's just a scam to get their money. And they know that. But I don't know. I'm probably never going to have a kid, but if I do, I want to make sure that they weren't watching such wacky propaganda. And Pokemon, I don't really think it's harmful, by the way. This is all just really a joke. I mean, I think that kids see all kinds of ridiculous shit, and most of it probably doesn't impact them as concretely as some people have suggested. But I think what's interesting about Pokemon is the way they made the story, the merchandising itself. The show is about collecting the product. They actually made the show itself about buying the toys or collecting them all, right? They made that the plot of the story. So not only did they create this universe with these really toyetic, marketable characters that they knew they could sell to kids and they knew they would sell like hotcakes, they made the center of the narrative the collection of those toys, right? And that's really what Pokemon is. More than anything else, it's just really, really good marketing. Sickeningly good marketing, actually. But I digress. I like Pokemon. I'm willing to look at something that I like and recognize that, you know what, this probably isn't that good or good for me. I don't care. Pokemon is like fast food. It makes me happy, even though it's probably slowly killing me. Because the truth is, 150 Pokemon was already too many. I mean, back in 1998, the notion that I would ever be able to catch and I was 6 years old at the time, but the notion that I would be able to catch every single Pokemon is just, it was like catching a unicorn in real life. There were so many, and half of them you needed friends to get, and I had friends, but they wouldn't trade with me. And I didn't know where half of them were because you couldn't just look that shit up on the internet. So it was a game that had a very specific number of Pokemon that were available to you, but it was a number that was supposed to sound so high to kids that you knew you would never get it. And then they made the sequel game, and they've kept making sequels every couple of years since then, and they keep adding more and more Pokemon. So I kind of feel bad for kids today because we only had 150 to worry about, and shit gets complicated. It's like the same thing on social media. If I had 10 people on my AIM and my AIM friends list at any point that were online, that was a miracle. That was, whoa, a lot of people are online right now. That's crazy. I'm popular. And then, of course, I would just wind up messaging Smarter Child directly anyway. But kids today, they got to deal with these 80,000 fucking different apps on which they have 800,000 followers apiece, and they don't know any of them, but they can get in touch with any of them, their contacts, and they got to worry about all these extra Pokemon too. I got to tell you, I don't envy it. right? A lot of older people, and I don't think I'm an older person yet. I'm a millennial, which I think is the new Gen X. Like 10 years ago, if you were in Gen X, you were like late 20s, 30 something, and you were like a young adult. That's where I'm at now. I'm not quite old enough to feel too old for things. Um, I definitely could feel too young for things, and I certainly feel too young to hate on the incoming generation because I think the Zoomers got their work cut out for them, and I don't think the millennials are going to be able to help that much because they still haven't gotten over, you know, the death of Severus Snape. It's just me. Millennials got a lot of feelings, man. We got a lot of feelings. There's a lot of things that millennials are expected to have opinions on. And it's hard for me to have an opinion about anything because, to tell you the truth, I opened with this, but I don't know anything. And I never will because I don't really like to learn. So everything I say shall be taken with several hundred grains of salt. Well, Ryan and Don, good to hear from you. I do appreciate you coming in and listening to me talk to myself. I gotta say, I've never done this before. Every Stoner Morning show that I have appeared on, I've had somebody to talk to. And now I'm just literally saying things as they come to my brain. So I hope I'm doing a good job. Um, what else is going on in the world? Let's see. Just checking the news now. You know, it's a little sad that the news is not about the active shooter in my hometown. That's not actually the top story. Joe Biden dispatches top officials to Mexico, Central America as border crisis grows. That doesn't seem worth looking into. I mean, is there not always a border? How is it even a crisis anymore? They've been calling it a crisis for as long as I can remember. Crisis. Everything's a crisis. Right? We're running out of like when the actual crisis is hit. That's what I'm concerned about. Right? I'm not concerned about the current crises because I know there's a lot of them, but I also know we'll figure them out. Or I think we'll at least do okay. We'll try our best. We'll figure something out. But my concern is with the rhetoric that we're using to describe these crises. Because every time something bad happens, people call it like an emergency, the end of the world, right? They treated this pandemic like it was the apocalypse. And I mean, don't get me wrong, this pandemic was some fucked up shit. But what about when the actual apocalypse happens? We're going to need to invent a new word for things if the worst thing happens. Now, I know what you're thinking, and it's that, well, maybe the worst thing won't happen, but let's be honest, we know that it will. Things could always get worse, and if things can always get worse, it's the reason that they will, eventually. Now, maybe it won't be in our time, and maybe it won't be in our grandchild's time, but it will get worse. And when it does, I want to make sure we're ready with the words that we're going to be using to describe it. And I'm open to coming up with some now if y'all are into it, right? I want to hear your ideas for a new word, for a word that describes something terrible, but it's not already a word, and it's not a modified version of an already word. Like, if something is both terrible and horrible, I don't want to hear that it's horritel or something like that. I want a new word. Sounds that have never existed before strung together to make a word to express an idea of a disaster that is so disastrous, we need a new word for it. And if that's confusing to you, I'm sorry. It's a little confusing to me too. But anything you all want to come up with? I got a good 3 minutes on the word crisis, so that's pretty good. All right, scrolling down the news list, we have Miami Beach chaos. Isn't all college spring breakers? Okay, well, I don't even know what that means. That headline doesn't make any sense at all. Okay, let me just read it again. Hold on. Miami Beach chaos. Is it all okay? First, okay, I see what's wrong. I see what the headline is trying to do, which is trying to say that there's a lot of people at Miami Beach, which is bad because COVID. And this article is making the point that you can't just blame college kids. Well, duh. First of all, who do you think raised these kids? That's the thing that I keep coming back to whenever I have these generational fights, right? If you hate the younger generation, dipshit, where do you think that generation came from? You raised it! It's your kids! But nobody asks me. They should. Okay, so it's not just the college kids who are fucking shit up in Miami. Well, we knew that. It was the old people. It's always been the old people. That's not news. And what's with the use of the word chaos? Again, chaos. You got a bunch of people at the beach, and they're calling it chaos. You know what's chaos? A black hole in space is chaos. Because negative is positive and positive is negative and gravity is reversed. I don't really understand black holes. But I know that they are chaotic. And I also know that Miami Beach is not chaotic, relatively speaking. So what happens if Miami Beach actually does erupt into chaos? Let's say the Sharknadoes come. And they come to Miami. Now, that would be chaotic. You got sharks inside tornadoes. I'll grant you that you got chaos. Hey, Sean, just in time.
Sorry it took me so long. Check out this new background I got. It's like a hoarder.
It's
background.
Awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Man, that was fun. Just talking for 25 minutes.
Sorry that you were here for so long.
No, it was actually fun. I've never attempted to do this before.
Okay.
I think I have at least 1 minute worth of worthwhile words in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
that happens.
At least some of it was not completely just vomit. So I'm feeling pretty encouraged. How was your meeting?
It was good. It went longer than I expected, and I thought people were going to be showing up, which nobody did, but that's fine.
Oh, that's a little sad.
Yeah.
Well, what kind of meeting was it?
It was it was a podcast interview.
Ooh, That's fun.
Yeah.
What kind of podcast?
It was called BSing with Sean Neese. It's just, he has people on. He's a Jersey guy, South Orange.
Yeah, I think I know him.
Yeah. But he just talks with people, and we talked about comedy. I think I went more serious than I expected.
It happens.
Yeah. But I don't know. That could be interesting to people, perhaps.
Yeah, I think it might be. That sounds like it could be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was cool.
I have pizza to eat after we're done with this.
You know, you say that, but you can't give any of it to me.
No.
It's a shame.
I did see about what went down in Boulder.
Yeah, that is still ongoing.
Yeah, that's not fun.
No, it's horrifying. It's my
Yeah.
supermarket. It's not the one I go to most frequently because I'm in the next town over.
Yeah.
But I've been there many, many times, and
It's
it is
yeah.
quite scary what is happening. I can't get my head around this kind of thing. I don't even try.
It's a fear of mine to be presented with that situation someday. It's not something I want to live through.
Yeah. Well, on another note, I'm
Yeah.
also I pitched a little podcast the other day to a couple friends of mine
Hmm.
that I think we're gonna do. I mentioned it on the last meeting we had for the writing crew.
Yeah.
It's called Pip and the Swedes.
It's a
I
good
got
name.
I got two Swedish friends, and I really think that they're both very beautiful. First of all, because they're Swedish,
Oh,
and
uh-huh.
everyone in Sweden is beautiful. But they're both pretty funny and charismatic, good talkers. One of them's a voice actor,
Hmm.
so they've got a little bit of a foot in the door of the whole podcasting world.
Yeah.
And I think we could bridge the gap between our two cultures because,
Yeah.
as you know, Sweden and America haven't always been buddy buddy like they
Hmm.
are today, and there's been a lot of strife between us.
Will
Uh,
will you be recording like a test episode, or will you just sort of record one and then put it out there?
I think that I am going to record an episode 0
Yeah.
in which we all kind of introduce ourselves, and I basically do what I just did for you, which is like, why have I made this podcast? Right? Swedes talking America, America talking Swedes. And then we'll do a little bit of riffing, and that'll be boom for that first trial 30-minute or so podcast.
Hmm.
And then starting the first episode 1, we'll start covering some topics that we could put in the title of the podcast to make people interested, like IKEA
Yeah.
or ABBA. So, like this week, we'll talk about IKEA and ABBA. Next week, we'll talk about what is the deal with the fireworks? Why are y'all obsessed with them?
Yeah.
Or whatever they have to ask me, or like, and I think that if I start making 5 or 6 episodes,
Mm-hmm.
put them out there, see if, kind of just set that as a goal.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I mean, I don't think that it's going to be like an ongoing thing forever unless people really like it. But that's what I'm going to try to do.
I think that's a good attitude to of like, let's put it out there and see what happens. I think that's a good
Yeah,
attitude to have.
or see if people like or want to hear Pip talk to Swedish people.
Yeah.
And if they do, we'll keep making them. I also like the idea of doing something in like a smaller country that might be have less competition.
That's smart.
No, I'm totally serious too. I
Yeah.
mean, it is funny, but it's sort of like, well, how many people are making comedy podcasts in Sweden versus New Jersey?
Yeah, I don't know.
I would imagine, and also, according to them, Swedish people would be very interested in something like this because they
Hmm.
also want to understand Americans.
Yeah.
Because what the fuck is our problem? And I don't blame them. Um,
Can I throw a topic, a
oh,
possible topic
please.
at you?
I'm always looking for recommendations.
Monster trucks.
Monster trucks. There we
I know.
go.
I know that you don't know much about monster trucks, but I think it's a very American topic.
How do you know that I don't know much about monster trucks?
Well, I mean, you might know, but I'm saying
Oh, I hear
regardless
you.
regardless of whether you know anything about it, I think it's a good American topic.
Yeah, I think that if each episode, if it focused on one Swedish topic and one American topic, that would be ideal.
Yeah,
And maybe at some point we could talk about news and pop culture,
of
but
course. I think
that's
I can
if
only name two monster trucks.
I don't know any of. I know Truckosaurus.
We'll call that monster truck adjacent. I don't know if you would call that a monster truck. I think it's something that eats other cars.
So it
You
doesn't count
know,
as a monster truck.
I'm sure he's there at some monster truck events, but the only two monster trucks that I can name off the top of my head are Bigfoot and Gravedigger.
Yeah, I've never heard of either of those.
Yeah, but
Right.
they're
There
fun.
are there are certain I guess schools of performance that I just remain super ignorant of. I try to learn, but I don't know what happens at rodeos either. I think I know, which is the bull and the toro and the people riding horses and
Yeah.
roping things.
Uh,
But I don't know if there are any rules. I don't know if it's like a game, or what exactly everybody's watching for 3 hours.
yeah. It's funny you should say that because I've watched like bull riding events on TV. Like if you're home on a Saturday and you're just chilling out, sometimes bull riding is on regular TV, and it's like, all right, I'll watch this for a little while. I don't know what the rules are. I couldn't tell you what they are.
Yeah, I think you just have to avoid falling off the bull, which
Yeah,
honestly is the best possible like game if you ask me.
sure.
I like games like that are super primal, like just super simple. Throw
Hmm.
the ball through the basket, don't fall off the bull.
Yeah.
Here's a stick. I'm gonna throw a rock, try to hit it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The way when you break these games down to their essentials, that's
Oh
when they
yeah.
become super interesting to me.
I saw like a TikTok video or a Facebook video recently, and it said dodge baseball, I think. And it made me think like, oh, this is a real sport. But all it was just a guy throwing up softballs and hitting them at kids running across the field. He didn't hit any of them. It sounds dangerous. It
It does
was,
sound dangerous.
yeah, there was no injuries,
That's good.
but it was a very primal sport. Um,
Yeah, that is primal, that's for sure.
our
Uh,
friend Constance Cooper is watching, and she just commented, Sean Wickens, an apostle of calm with chaos just in back of him. It's a
I
good
love it. Hey,
observation.
Constance, how you doing?
Um, and I think this background is funny. It's not. It's. I don't like what it's doing here with my hat, but I committed to it, so I'm sticking to what is happening.
Oh, Sean, I actually do have to run.
Oh
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I couldn't stay the whole hour this week.
no, that's all right. I might leave
Um,
pretty soon as also. I mean,
cool.
props to you for doing 20 minutes on your own. I
Yeah,
could.
yeah. If you ever end up watching it, let me know if I have anything useful in there.
I'll try. I will. I'll try to. I will.
Okay, you don't need to.
Yeah,
It's
all
you.
right.
It's up
Remind
to
me.
you.
Yeah.
Okay. Later.
See you, Pip. Thanks for being here.
Bye.
Glad you're safe.
I am not dead. Why isn't
Yeah.
this working?
Um, all right. Well, gosh, everyone, thanks for watching. I would stick around if other people were here. I just don't feel like it, only because was speaking for an hour plus before I arrived here. But I will say, um, check out, if you're still watching, check out gratitudecalls.com. It's a Stoner Morning Show side project where, for a modest fee, we will call up somebody that you know and let them know that they should be very proud of you, or vice versa. We'll call somebody to let them know that you're proud of them. You know, um, it was inspired by Stoner Morning Show guest Dave Vidala and a joke that he told on air about wanting his parents to be proud of him. So that's gratitudecalls.com. Check us out every Saturday morning. If you're seeing this, you probably know we do a Saturday morning show uh, on Facebook Live and Twitch and YouTube. But we're going to be doing a 24-hour fundraiser at the end of April, and we're raising money for a charity, but we're taking sponsorship money for each hour to raise some money for us and the show. I don't know if you're still watching and you want to say anything. Feel free to do so in the chat. But I'm about done because I have some pizza I want to eat. I'm glad Pip is safe. I'm glad I'm safe, and I'm glad you're safe. It's a scary world, and we're just trying to do our best to take some of the scariness out of it. Stoner Morning Show, that's us. All right. Cheers, everybody. It was nice that you were here. Oh, I'm doing a show Saturday at 10:30 p.m. I don't know. I'll post about it on my thing and here as well. All right. Peace. Oh, my sister, what kind of pizza? It's plain. That's it. Plain slices that I got from nearby. All right. Love you, my sister.